Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 1v1 battle. I'm bringing the Wood Elves and we're facing off against the Vampire Counts. So I didn't want to deal with the Raised Dead shenanigans, and I do have a Flying Vampire Lord who does have Raised Dead. So I brought a melee army here. We have 5 Eternal Guards with shields, 3 Treekin, an Ancient Tree Man, and Durthu. Then over here we have a Branch Wraith and 2 Wild Riders with shields versus 2 Fellbats, that Vampire Lord, a Vampirus of the Shadows, Black Knight, 1 Blood Knight, 2 Crypt Horrors, 3 Grave Guard, 3 Skeletal Warriors, 2 Crypt Ghouls. And that's going to be the enemy's army here. So again, I didn't want to try and protect a bunch of ranged units against the Vampire Count's Raised Dead shenanigans, so I opted not to have to worry about that at all. It's just a good old melee army. Treekin are very durable. Eternal Guard are alright. Treemen are pretty good. Gonna move a little bit closer to this forest. I do want to try that penumbral move of the Branch Wraith there, like what happened to me against when I was playing as dwarves. So I'm going to try that. We're going to do our best to just ignore this because I want to get into a formation over here with the edge of it into this forest, pulling out our Wild Riders out there on the flanks. And yeah, we're just trying to continually give him move orders. I don't want to be engaged out here in the middle of nowhere. I want to be a little closer to the forest. So we are going to take some damage on our Eternal Guard here from those 2 heroes. And the Black Knights, I believe. Yeah, Black Knights are going to charge on the backs. And then we're going to march forward, and now I'm going to actually accept this charge, and we're going to charge through to their Crypt Ghouls, their Grave Guard, and their Skeletal Warriors on the right. Our Eternal Guard over there, you can see a group of Skeletal Warriors have been spawned on the behind them, so that's going to be bad for them. The setup currently doesn't really lend to a good penumbral. Hold on, what is that spell called? Yeah, the Penumbral Pendulum. So unfortunately, that's not really going to happen right now. But maybe later. We have the Wild Riders out here trying to get the Blood Knights over here into a combat, but you see the Fellbats are going to halt our charge, which is not what I wanted. We're going to try and get a rear charge over here, break these Skeletal Warriors. Branch Wraith is going to be casting a first restoration spell over here on Durthu and the Ancient Tree Man. You can see the 2 heroes are going to try and get on the Branch Wraith, so I'm going to send her into melee combat so she has some buddies nearby. And again, these Fellbats have slowed us down, and now we are engaged with these Blood Knights. We're going to do a rear charge on the Blood Knights with our other Wild Rider. And I believe there are some spells, yeah, Undeath Resurgent, because they're now being assisted by the 2 heroes. So I am outmatched over here currently. Branch Wraith is, I believe, I'm going to try and do that penumbral ability. We do cast another restoration spell on our Wild Riders to try to keep them in the fight as long as possible. Eternal Guard over here is now dead. There goes that penumbral pendulum. It did alright. It wasn't really the best one. I just really wanted to use it. The center, fortunately, is going to buckle under the weight of the Durthu, the Ancient Tree Man, the Eternal Guard, and the ancient, or the whatever. Meanwhile, over here we are losing the cat fight handily because of Invocation of Nehek, Von Heel's Dance Macabre, the Scroll of Shielding that's now been dropped on this Blood Knight. So we were clearly outmatched over here. I'm trying to get Durthu and our Ancient Treatment over here now that their center is crumbled, and we're going to try and get in here to stop the Blood Knights, but it's going to be a little too late. My Wild Riders are going to get picked to pieces by that Blood Knight and the 2 heroes along with their spells. I'm like, well, that sucks, but keep fighting. Treekin are holding the middle over here against the Grave Guard, and I believe, are those normal skeleton? I think those are non-summoned Skeletal Warriors right there. Yeah, because they're affected by their leadership there. Going to get rear charged by these Crypt Horrors into the Eternal Guard, and it's not looking too great for me right now, but we still do have Durthu at full health. We have the Ancient Tree Man, our Branch Wraith is still there, so that's okay. We're going to cast, I forget what we cast, I think, oh, we cast the Flock of Doom over here, upgraded on these units because they were all surrounding my Treekin. You can see they're going to be pulled out of the Flock of Doom, so it's good micro my enemy's part there. And I'm going to try and keep the Branch Wraith and the Ancient Tree Man and Durthu right next to each other at all times because they're going to be my hero squad now. And we're going to get charged by the Blood Knights and the 2 heroes, and we're going to try and fight them off. You see I'm going to cast the magic missile there from Durthu into the back of the Blood Knights. We're getting our Treekin nearby. And these other Treekin are kind of isolated, but slowly just dealing with these Crypt Ghouls over here. And the rest of the Skeletal army is now marching. The Black Knights are coming over here. I think they were chasing off the Eternal Guard is what they were doing back in there. Chasing off around a unit. So currently not looking great, but we still do have 3 Treekin. We have the Branch Wraith. We got our leaders. We got the Ancient Tree Man. We're still in the fight, kinda. But we are definitely outnumbered here. Meanwhile, the enemy heroes are going to continually try and charge and take out this Branch Wraith, which is a good target because Branch Wraith is what's going to be keeping my army healed up with their healing spells, which I think we're going to get down on here. Yeah, Earthblood is now being cast down here, so we're going to get some healing back. And I'm just trying to keep this branch wraith away from their enemy heroes. Here comes another skeletal warrior being summoned. Blood Knight's coming in behind us, trying to charge on Durthu, I believe, or the ancient tree man. They're trying to gang up on him. Some of my units come back from routing, so we're going to try and bring it back. And here goes another invocation of the heck from the enemy player on most of their army, which sucks for me, but at least I have AoE healing as well, but mine doesn't bring back models like invocation of the heck does. You can see leadership is starting to falter here on the tree men on the outside of this battle, but their Graveguard for the most part I think has been taken out. I guess not this one. But a lot of their Graveguard have suffered a lot of damage, but the problem is invocation of the heck is a pain in the ass, especially skeletal warriors being summoned over and over again. But not as much of a pain against a melee focused army like mine is. So my biggest threat here are the Blood Knights, who you can see have been healed up a lot, but they and still have a lot of models left, which is unfortunate. I still do have a lot of Winds of Magic, well, some Winds of Magic at this point, so I know I have enough for another heal spell, I believe at this point, just waiting for its cooldown. We're going to cast the Magic Missile, I think, on the Blood Knights. There we go. Right in their face. And the Ancient Treemen of Durthu are very durable, even against the anti-large cav. That cav is not really focused on armor piercing, which these Treemen have a lot of. Plus some decent melee defense. So these Eternal Guard are going to try and come back into the fight, but the hero there is going to charge him. You can see that he did drop in melee, and we did focus him down with the Tree Man and Durthu briefly and dealt a lot of damage to the Vampire Lord, but he didn't escape. And now the enemy is going to withdraw from this engagement. I'm not entirely sure why, but they're going to, I guess, drop these Fellbats in here to try and finish off these Eternal Guard. So since they're not surrounding me anymore, I'm like, well, okay. So I'm going to try and move into the forest at this point, since they disengaged with me, and we're going to have a advantage in here because their Crypt Horrors will be at a negative, their heroes will be at a negative, but we're going to be totally fine. So since they decided to free up my units, I'm like, okay. So we're going to try and get in here as fast as we can, beat some units down on the way. I'm guessing they wanted to pull out to maybe try and just kill these Treekin and maybe buy time to get Winds of Magic for like Invocation of the Heck for these units is what my guess is. So that's fine with me. So we're going to cast another Earthblood here to get our units back up and as high as we can. So all we have left is going to be Durthu, Ancient Tree Man, 2 Treekin, and the Branch Wraith. This is all we have left because this one's going to be chased off. Although I guess we do have Wild Riders back. One of them came back from routing. So we're going to crush these Graveguard who decided to try and stall us, along with the Crypt Ghouls who have pulled back a little bit. And I'm going to continue my journey into the forest at this point because I don't want to be standing out in the middle of nowhere. Since the enemy is disengaging, I'm like, okay, we're just going to pull back over here. I can't catch them. We're slower than they are. So I'm not sure what the enemy's goal is at this point, so we're just going to kind of halt in the forest. Did a quick charge against these Crypt Ghouls because I saw that they were crumbling, so I wanted to try and help them on their way to death with what few Wild Riders we have left, and make sure we keep what's left away from these Blood Knights. So now that they are dealing with my Treekin and chasing them off with a group of Fellbats, they're going to be gathering their army again. But now we are in the forest, so all their large creatures and heroes are going to be at a negative. The Black Knights will be, the Blood Knights will be. So I'm okay with this kind of trade-off. They take our Treekin out, but we get advantage in the ground now that we are fighting in. Vampire is going to charge in, I believe. They're trying to focus on my Branch Wraith again. But we have the Ancient Tree Man and Durthu there, which are not to be disrespected. They are very strong combatants. Also in this battle, I believe I forgot to bring Durthu's artifact item. Yeah. Not intentional, by the way. I just forgot to bring it. Would have been pretty good against vampire counts. I realized that like halfway through the battle. I was like, oh, I didn't bring his AoE. That really sucks. So yeah, at least we're in this forest now, and you can see there's still over 10 minutes left of fighting here. So again, I think they're trying to do repeating charges against my Branch Wraith, and I do little movements here and there to keep her away from the heroes. She is currently engaged against the Vampire of Shadow, but she did another heal spell of Earthblood to keep our units up. Unfortunately, my leadership is breaking on one of my Treekin unit. That's the only thing I'm really worried about, not their health points at this point. And you can see they're regenerated through most of it because this little dash on the health bar shows how much they have life left to regenerate. So they have definitely been healed quite a lot, as is Durthu and the Ancient Tree Man. It's just a massive, I don't know, party of tree branches being thrown around trying to kill these Black Knights, trying to kill these Blood Knights, trying to kill the vampires as they land to try and murder my Branch Wraith, who has also been healed through a lot at this point. Like Durthu has been regenerated over 1,000 hit points currently. A lot of healing on both sides of this battle here. It's just basically a war of attrition at this point. Who can out-heal the other, who can outlast the other. You can see the Vampire of Shadows has already gone through her entire healing pool, her regeneration pool. So any damage done to her now is going to be basically permanent. And I think the Vampire Lord is near the same. Yeah, he has also regenerated almost all of his health at this point that he can. The Blood Knights and Black Knights, I think, are nearly the same as well. Oh, actually, no, these Black Knights are not healed up to full, but we are taking them out currently. We have another Earthblood spell being dropped down to keep our Treekin healthy, but these units are now going to be routing, unfortunately. Their leadership did break, and I'm going to try and follow my Treekin units because I know the enemy is going to try and harry them to death, and that is exactly what they are doing here. Trying to make sure they don't come back from routing, so I'm going to be moving our units, but we are slower than the Blood Knights even in the forest here because we are also tired. So yeah, they're just going to chase off our Treekin units, so now all we have left is Durthu, Ancient Treeman, and the Branch Wraith because the other two Treekin are being just chased off by the Fellbats and the Blood Knights. And you can see they just disengaged, and they're going to wait over here. Blood Knights are coming back for another charge, but they have taken a ton of damage, so they're just going to, I guess, rethink that. I think I end up nailing my own Ancient Treeman in the back more than I hit them in that one. And I think they are disengaging to get another Invocation of the Heck up, because at this point the Winds of Magic, I believe, for both of us is really low. And also they're totally cool with just chasing these guys off and not doing a hard engage. Although at the same time, I guess they are going to charge us. Not sure what the Vampire of Shadow thought she could do against Durthu, but you can see that one good hit there. Another good hit there. Another good hit there. Kill her! But she's gonna fly away. But we are gonna get into these Grave Guard who are still around, the Skeletal Warriors. It's unfortunate though that our Treekin are just being routed out. Still 7 or 8, almost 8 minutes left. You can see we're dealing with those Grave Guard and Skeletal Warriors. Let's fast forward. They're going to just continually just chase off our units. Our opponent is very patient. I'm going to march out of the forest to try and fight them, but you can see my opponent is actually going to withdraw. I was willing to let go of my advantage, because just camping in a tree, it felt kind of shitty. Even though that's what you should do as the Wood Elves in this situation. But so I was willing to go out there and accept the fight, but they're like, nope. So they're just going to run away, and I'm like, well, okay. So right here, I'm trying to get in range of the Vampire to cast the Magic Missile spell that he has, but she, I believe, stays far enough away. So since they're not going to fight, because they just want to chase off my Treekin and buy time for the Vampire Lord to come back, I'm like, well, you know what? Screw this. So I'm going to march back into the forest. I think I'm trying to pop off a Magic Missile spell here on the Vampire Lord instead. And I'm going to march back into the forest. We do connect on a couple of those, and he takes a lot of damage there. And now we're just going to march back. Because I marched out, I was willing to take the fight out in the middle of nowhere, but now we're just going to march back. The enemy army is just going to sit out here, and what they're actually doing is waiting for Winds of Magic for an Invocation of the Heck, is what they're doing. And there it goes. They just popped it, and I was still waiting out here. Then I realized what they were doing. I'm like, oh, okay, I see. So we're just going to go back into here. At this point, I had enough Winds of Magic also for a heal spell of my own, but obviously I don't need to cast it quite yet. So now that the Invocation of the Heck has popped off, nearly every single unit of theirs has regenerated to their max at this point. I think right here I'm trying to cast on the Magic Missile and the Vampire Lord because he's standing still. But they are going to micro out of this time. So now we're going to march back into the forest. We have managed to get our vigor back up a little bit though from standing still, which is good. And even though they've managed to get an Invocation of the Heck off, the Vampire Lord and Vampirus are nearly almost dead still. Look at that. One hit took off about half health that they have left. And they're trying to, I believe, try and drag me out to the open again, but at this point, no. No, I was willing to fight. But since they wanted to sit back here and do Invocation of the Heck, I'm just going to sit in my trees. And I'll be totally fine. There's 3 minutes left. I can't chase the Vampire counts in the open ground. They're too fast. And they're also flying. So here we go. I'm trying to charge these Crypt Ghouls because they're just standing there. I wanted to try and get into some combat. And they're going to run away. Now it's like, okay. So they summon another Skeletal Warrior. Oh, that's what they were waiting for. They were waiting for enough Winds of Magic to summon another Skeletal Warrior. Or a Zombie Warrior in this case. So they're going to get some bodies up here. And then they're going to rush into the Crypt Horrors. Trying to get our Branch Wraith because our Ancient Treemen were away from them. So I'm just going to converge on these zombies, do some damage. These Fellbats are still around, but they don't really do that much damage, so I'm not really concerned about them. They should charge right now, since and there they go. Blood Knights are coming in, what is left of them, and And they're trying to use overwhelming numbers to make sure that I can't target units that I really want to kill. But I'm going to issue target orders on the Blood Knights. And they're going to take some damage here. Cryptor is now going to charge in. But Durthu and the Ancient Treeman are still fine. Branch Wraith is still fine. And I still have enough Winds of Magic for the heal spell. I'm waiting to pump that out. So we are focusing on these Blood Knights. And they're going to withdraw. So now I'm going to focus on the Cryptors. And the Vampirist and the Vampire Lord can't really go into melee because like they're both one hit away from death. Blind's going to charge again. We've taken some damage on Durthu. Still have my heal spell up though. Branch Wraith is still fine-ish. Now here comes the Crypt Ghouls, the rest of the army. 1 minute left. Get a couple swipes on the Blood Knights as they get out of there. Getting some swipes on the enemy army. And you can see they are trying to withdraw. At this point, there is only a minute left in the actual game. Like, there's only 44 seconds left of this replay. There's only a minute left. So I'm like, huh. Are they trying to now maybe kite for a draw? But they do re-engage in our Branch Wraith because I was chasing them. So there is still some fight left in the opponents. And we're going to try and charge up here and assist the Branch Wraith. But that one charge actually kind of negated a lot of their leadership here, so it's starting to crumble a little bit. And now they're trying to run away. And again, there's like only 40 maybe seconds left in the actual match. And luckily for me, because it looks like they were about to do a draw, like kiting away from me. But we did just enough damage at the very end to start crumbling a unit, which then did a chain route, and everything else crumbled. Thank God, because that was seriously almost about to end and go into a draw because that opponent was running away at that point. I was about to be very angry. I don't care if I was winning or losing at that point. I just wanted there to be a decisive victor if I'm going to sit in a fight for 20 freaking minutes. But good game to my opponents. I don't know if they were trying to draw kite me there at the end, or if they were just trying to gather their forces for one more charge. So I don't know 100% sure. But besides that, they played really well for the Vampire Counts. They disengaged, Invocation of the Heck. They were very patient. They killed my units here and there, routed them off the field. So it was a good fight. They just couldn't take Durthu and the Ancient Treeman there in the end in the forest. So fighting in the trees is kind of a good thing for the Wood Elves, at least for these units anyway. Branch Wraith, very solid unit. Kill count here, Durthu over 200 kills. 87 kills with the Branch Wraith is really good. A couple of our Eternal Guard did okay. These Wild Riders were outmatched by the heroes and the Blood Knights. Invocation of the Heck, their buffs, the Rune of Shielding. Like, they put more attention to the cat fight than I did. Treekin did okay, and then the Ancient Treeman over 100 kills for them. 19 for the Vampire Lord, 14 for her is not that great. Ghouls did okay, Graveguard did okay. Knights did pretty good. And the Crypt Ghouls did alright, I guess. They definitely destroyed my main infantry line, that's for damn sure. But Durthu and the Ancient Treeman, it was tough. They didn't really have much armor piercing there to tear them down. But anyway, good game to empty. And let's watch a cinematic view, I guess. It's going to be a long one. I'll probably just fast forward through a lot of it. Get in there, trees. These trees are pissed. If I had played a more traditional army with a bunch of archers, I would have definitely lost. I think. With a flying Vampire Lord dropping Skeletal Warriors, so like I couldn't actually block him physically to keep him away from the archers, and like that would have been rough. And I'm pretty sure that's what this army was built to do, was to take out a more traditional Wood Elf army. Ah, these poor Wild Riders. Watch out, Branch Wraith! Aww. Yeah, they really wanted to kill that Branch Wraith. And it's a good thing I didn't let them, because she was crucial with the amount of healing she was throwing out. That ghoul has no arm! These trees are pretty durable. Sucks they got my tree in there though. Man. Oh well. I see my Wild Rider's got to do something. Right. Oh, oh. such a long fight of attrition. Run, skeletons! Yeah, definitely nailed my dude in the back there. What up, Branch Wraith? This vampire's got a little too close. A little too close. And then, a whole lot of nothing. This whole time I was just popping Foe Seeker to get my vigor back up. And this Branch Wraith doesn't care about zombies. It would have been funny if they tried to overcast to get a Skeletal Warrior and then murder themselves. That can totally happen. Man, Durthu is just like covered head to toe in blood. Holy shit. He's now a red oak. Chase them! Nice, that was like 5 of them. That was it. The swipe to end the game. That was a long one. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Take care.